how do you think this can work out? There is obviously so many question marks when you go from one spot to another, which is a sensation you never really had to go through. But what do you think about the setup, the whole concept, everything all put together, Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, and how it might fare? Troy?
Well, I think that, first of all, a lot of people look at the trade yesterday and then try to evaluate it and say, okay, who got the better deal? How does this look? And I never think those trades can you truly evaluate at the time that they take place. I think you have to wait and see exactly what happens. If Aaron Rodgers goes out and plays like the 4-time MVP that he's been and then leads the Jets to the Super Bowl like Tom Brady did in Tampa, it doesn't matter what they gave up. It would be a huge win, of course, then for the Jets. We saw the commitment then, of course, that the Rams have made over the years with their number one picks. But I expect that it'll work out well. I anticipate that Aaron will play well. There's familiarity for him, and I think that's the real key. It's different. And although I never went through it, I entertained the idea. But to go from a place where he spent all this time, and it's very comfortable for him, and then to go someplace different, he's now, much like Russell Wilson last year and the others who have come before him that have made that transition as great players, you now have to prove yourself all over again. Because those people in the locker room, the organization, they've seen it, but they want to see it up close. And so there is some pressure that comes with that. But I think it'll be a great trade. I expect him to play great. I like the Jets. I like what they've done defensively. It seems like whenever you say this is the missing piece, it doesn't quite – the story doesn't end so well, but I expect the Jets to be really good next year.
And I'm with you about evaluating trades, Troy. Perfect example, trade between the Rams and the Lions for Matthew Stafford. At first blush, when it happened, it's like, wow, all those number one overall picks for Stafford, and who knows what he can do in Los Angeles. And you look at the trade right now, and the Lions are sixth on the clock because the Rams had such a terrible season last year with the injury front. And you're like, boy, the Rams could use that draft choice. And that's how you evaluate that there. But evaluating it on the night of Super Bowl 56, it's like, great trade, right? I mean,
no, for sure.
That.
And like I said, I touched on the Rams just because of how they've dealt so many first-round picks over the years, as we all know, in order to bring in proven veteran star players. And that was, of course, to win the Super Bowl, and now they're paying for that a little bit. But I've talked to a number of coaches. It's interesting, Rich. You pose the question of, would you rather be relevant, like knocking on the door, getting to the championship game, whether it's AFC, NFC, maybe an occasional Super Bowl appearance. You don't quite win the Super Bowl, but you're always there, and you're always winning 11, 12 games a season, and you're relevant. Or would you just rather win the Super Bowl and then just have these poor seasons the other 9 years?
Mm-hmm.
And to a man, they say they'd take the Super Bowl. So, that's what follows you on your resume. Once you've done it, then they can't take it away from you. And I think then nobody really cares. And I wonder what the fan base would say to that. I've learned that the organizations and coaches and general managers, they lean towards, we'd have the one great year and win the Super Bowl. I wonder how the fans would feel about that. Everybody wants to win the Super Bowl, but at the expense of not being relevant for the other, part of the decade, it'd be an interesting poll.
Well, the only rational thing we can do after hearing that is put it on Twitter. That's the only rational thing we can do, right, Chris? So
that's rational.
Pop that on Twitter for a poll, and we'll use it as an indicative of the larger picture. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.